Okay, I'm live. So I think he might actually be from Africa, the person that said that. But I don't have a lot of time. I'm gonna jump into it. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow, but I'm trying to do for an hour today. So we're just gonna jump into it. You know what's crazy though? I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. What's crazy is there is a verse in the Bible where the Pharisees basically tell Jesus that his mother was loose. You know, I never thought about how the stigma that Mary had on her life. You know, Mary was seen as a woman that was loose because he was born of a virgin. So imagine everybody that saw her, especially when his popularity grew, his mom was the woman that was known as the loose woman. She would have been the thought of today's time. Mary would have been considered a Jezebel. She has been considered loose. I never thought about that stigma going on throughout her life because the Pharisees said we were not born of fornication. They were telling Jesus, like, you were born of fornication, not us. So it's just crazy that that woman endured that kind of stigma, but it's kind of prophetic because if you think about us following Christ, we endure the same kind of stigma. You know, we endure the same kind of stigmas and not worldly persecutions. You know, I'm talking about righteous persecutions, like the world hating us because we're spreading God's word, not the world hating you because you got your edges. No. They hate you because you spreading God's word. And so I never thought that Mary went through that for her entire life, pretty much. She was known as the young girl that was loose because she basically had a baby before she was quote unquote married. D Blade 4 said, blessed are you when men shall revile you for my name's sake. So it's kind of prophetic that even his mother didn't escape it. The disciples didn't escape it. Anybody associated with him pretty much went through it, you know, following Christ. But it's just a blessing that we have someone that could, you know, be our redeemer, you know, someone that could actually come down here and give us the keys to everlasting life. But I also think about how much character it builds when we are persecuted, you know, how it makes us better people. When you think about it, God is telling us to love our enemies. Just imagine the type of person that loves their enemy, you know. So to me, the Bible is all about character building, making us better men and better women to be of greater service to the kingdom. But let me get started. Let me get started.
We sitting in here, I supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice, ain't? I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about practice right now.
Now, you can't listen to black people. And I told you all this before. This is not personal to AI. I like AI. The problem with what he said is that you must practice to prepare for the game. So imagine all these children listening to AI, telling them how insignificant practice is. Allen Iverson accounted for probably over a third of the team's offense. So that means if he's not practicing, then what is the team working on? What plays are they running if Allen Iverson isn't practicing? And so although many black people like this speech actually destroyed his legacy. I'm going to give you a quote when he was in court and his ex-wife was suing, trying to get money from him, not suing him, but I guess his money, during divorce proceedings. AI yells out, "Man, I can't even buy a hamburger." AI one time, and I know AI, actually, I know him. So this ain't personal, but I know him. One time, he left a car in a city because it was something where the car, I don't know if the car had a flat, wherever the car wasn't able to be moved. So he left the car, he just left it there in the city, just left the car like a luxury vehicle, just left it, didn't care. But anyway, I say all this to say that although Allen Iverson was a great player, his legacy is diminished because he told the world that the building blocks that make a player who they are, the building blocks that make a man who he is what he does when nobody is looking. That's who the real man is. The real person is the one when the cameras are off, when the lights are off. That's the real person. The real AI was the person who was going to rely on his God-given ability and not go to practice. So now you have to wonder and ask yourselves, how much better could he have been if he had just practiced? This is why it's so important that you pray to God to get wisdom, because wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. AI told the entire world that practice wasn't important. And we all know that's a lie. Not as just a lie, how many children, specifically black children, tried to follow AI's footsteps and failed miserably? Neek says, you see, Kobe is regarded totally different. Kobe is regarded totally different because Kobe excelled in practice. He put in the work. He would never get in front of an audience and say, don't practice. Kobe would say that practice was the most important. And this is why Kobe's career is way better than AI's. This is why Kobe won and is revered, and AI is just revered as a cultural icon. Nobody points to AI's game. They say AI was a dog, he had heart, but they don't actually study AI's game. They actually study Kobe's game. People actually went out to study under Kobe, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving. All your great players today studied under Kobe. Nobody studied under AI. You know why? Because AI doesn't believe in practice. So what can he actually pass on and leave the next generation? This is why I tell you all not to listen to black people, because black people will say things that sound good. Jesse Lee Peterson said one time, we had some guests on the show and they kept running around. He said, why is it so hard for black folks to give a straight answer? I'll tell you why, Jesse. Because black people are worried about sounding good versus telling the truth. And what AI should have said was, you know what? I should go to practice because I'm hurting my team. That's what he should have said.
Practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice, ain't? I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man.
When he was in Memphis, Memphis told him to keep his money and lead the team. Then he went to Detroit and said, I'm not coming off the bench. Then he was out the league. Look how AI's legacy ended. Memphis said, keep the money, just go. We don't want you. AI's legacy was summed up in this speech right here.
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice.
That's why you can't trust the media. Nobody had the guts to tell him that he's sending the wrong message to millions of children, millions of people that idolize him. Nobody has the guts. They just laugh with him. Wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And in all thy getting, get understanding. AI is beloved by Black people because of this right here. Because he made Black folks believe that you can cut corners and be successful. Your God-given abilities only last for so long. You have to put in the work. Your God-given abilities are only going to last for so long. You are going to have to put in the work. And Black culture specializes in cutting corners. Black culture specializes in relying on your God-given abilities and not putting in the work. The putting in the work portion of whatever you do is where the character is built. That is how you build your character. You don't build character relying on God-given ability. That's LeBron James' problem. LeBron James' problem is he's doing everything except going into that lab. He's spending money on his body. He's building his body up. He got the shit. Everything he's doing everything but preparing himself to take that last shot. So at the end of the day, it's for my women. Ladies, listen to how a man speaks. Listen. Does the man believe in cutting corners? Does he believe in not giving 100%? Does he believe that practice isn't important? When I was growing up, they said practice makes perfect. What are the 5 P's? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor. Yeah, those are 5 P's. That's what I was told when I was growing up. So AI just told you that proper preparation wasn't important. This is why I tell you all that Black men are weak. 9.9 times out of 10, when a Black man has a microphone in front of his face, he is going to be either making an excuse, he is going to be lying, he is going to be complaining, or he is going to be blaming. But what you will rarely find him doing is taking accountability. And it's not because he's Black. It's not because of high melanin content. It's not because he comes from the ancestors. It's because his whole foundational existence is built on an excuse. So, ladies, when you're talking to a man, this regardless of color of the woman, I don't care about the man's color. Listen to if he believes in cutting corners. Because if he believes in cutting corners, guess what? He's going to eventually cut you. He's going to eventually cut you. Oh, yes, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. I will do Project 2025 tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, Renabina. I'm sorry, I'll do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow because I've been meaning to do it because I started reading it. I'm gonna read up on it tomorrow and I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Created something for which there were no models for what he did. This black theology of liberation comes really from the depth of his experience. James Cone was an academic theologian who spoke with the power and moral authority of a prophet. And the reason he was able to do this is because his thinking was immersed deeply in the suffering and the experience of black people. And so black theology really can be reduced to one statement, that God is the liberator, and that liberation is the central message of the gospel, and any gospel that is not committed to the liberation of the oppressed is a heresy. It is a false gospel. And so what Dr. King did was that he really decentered those voices that were at the center of the discourse, and took those who were on the margins and made them the center of the discourse. And he said that in a real sense, this is what Christian faith is all about. We have to remember the context out of which black theology emerged. It was the riots, or the uprisings, I should say, really, in Detroit, in Newark, here in the wake of the death of Dr. King, this man who spoke with such love and deep commitment to this idea of liberation. He inspired Dr. Cone, along with Malcolm X, and Dr. Cone has inspired countless.
So James Cone, I guess the father of liberation theology. Now we have Reverend Senator Warlock here giving this man praise. And again, how many black people do you think disagree with Warlock? How many black, now what he said is some foolishness. How many black people do you think disagree with Warnock? Most black people agree with what he said. And we all know that liberation theology comes from Satan. Because liberation theology is rooted in white folks are bad. That's it. In a nutshell, liberation theology is white folks are bad, they're oppressing us, we got to get free through communism. So how many black people do you think will disagree with Senator Warnock? This is what I mean when I say most white people would agree with Senator Warnock. Most people would agree with him. This is why I say we are in a dangerous time, because black people have the microphone. And nobody's coming to the stage to take it away. I liken black people right now in the world, black Americans, the world is the Apollo stage, except there's no Sandman. The world is the Apollo stage, but there is no Sandman. So black people get to stand up there and stay on the stage, even if the crowd is booing. Let's play it again.
He really created something for which there were no models for what he did. This black theology of liberation comes really from the depth of his experience. James Cone was an academic theologian who spoke with the power and moral authority of a prophet. And
he called James Cone a prophet. James Cone was possibly LGBTQ. We know he was a Marxist, communist, socialist. So we're talking about he could be a socialist, Marxist, communist, LGBTQ member. Weak man because he blaming white folks. And Senator Reverend Warlock called him a prophet. Can someone please take the mic from black people? Please. The only group of people that are brave enough to do it are some white conservatives. But that makes them an easy target.
The reason he was able to do this is because his thinking was immersed deeply in the suffering and the experience of black people. And so black theology really can be reduced to one statement, that God is the liberator.
So somebody, Chim said he's a woman beater. Yeah, he put his hands on his, I don't know if his ex-wife. I know during his campaign, they suppressed all of that. She said he ran over her foot with the car. He's all so again, most black men that you see in any position of power have poor character. I would venture to say that most men, period, but definitely black men. You're going to be hard pressed to find a black man with a position of power and he ain't morally compromised. It's just going to be very hard to do it. Because if a black man had character, they wouldn't want to pick. He wouldn't be picked. The Democrats, the libtards, the progressives are not seeking out righteous black men. They're not. They're not looking for men of character. They're not. So if they want you, you are severely and extremely compromised.
And that liberation is the central message of the gospel. And any gospel that is not committed to the liberation of the oppressed is a heresy.
Tell me where the gospel, the foundation of the gospel, is centered around freeing you from oppression. Tell me where the gospel is centered around freeing you from oppression. The gospel is centered around salvation through Christ. That whole oppression thing is something that y'all made up. God gives every man a measure of faith. So if you decided to let somebody put you in chains, that is your fault, not God. You chose that. You chose to get on that boat. So that's all I gotta say about that. So if you're oppressed in 2024, it's your fault. Ladies, any man telling you that the white man is oppressing him, do not deal with him. Do not give him your womb. Do not marry him. I promise you, he is going to sabotage your entire legacy. Do not do it. I don't care how much swag he got. I don't care how many chains he got on. I don't care how much money he got. I don't care. Don't do it. He is going to sabotage your entire legacy.
It is a false gospel. And so what Dr. King did was that he really decentered those voices that were at the center of the discourse, and took those who were on the margins and made them the center of the discourse. And he said, this is what Christian faith is all about.
Manuel Luna said it's centered around freeing us from sin. Amen. So again, this whole notion that God came here to liberate man is not true. Man doesn't need liberation. Man needs salvation. Man is in a fallen state. Man was in a perfect state and he failed. Nothing to do with oppression. If anything, man is oppressing himself through sin. So the gospel is not centered around you Negroes feeling insecure and feeling inferior. That's not what the gospel is about. The gospel is for the courageous. The gospel is for the brave. The gospel is for those that walk in faith. The gospel is for the strong. The gospel is for those that are going to be obedient. The gospel for those who want to walk in love, but the gospel is not for somebody who feels oppressed, because you will reject the gospel. And what these folks have done is they read the gospel, they didn't like it, so they tried to change it. You've never seen a coward run to the Bible. You've never seen any of these cowards run to the Bible. A coward running to the Bible is equivalent to a vampire running to some garlic. It's not going to happen. Let's continue.
We have to remember the context out of which black theology emerged. It was the riots, or the uprisings, I should say, really, in Detroit, in Newark, here in the wake of the death of Dr. King, this man who spoke with such love and deep commitment to this idea of liberation. He inspired Dr. King, Dr. Cone, along with Malcolm X, and Dr. Cone has inspired countless.
So again, this guy, Dr. Cone, James Cone, is who most of these pastors follow behind. Most of your pastors are already Marxists. They got a weak mentality. And I'm going to say this again. Say this again. The black man is weak. He is weak. And he is not weak because of DNA. He is weak because he uses an excuse. I don't think we understand how dangerous excuses are. Because with an excuse, nothing can get accomplished. An excuse it will make life cease to exist. Blaming another man for your state in life is the most cowardly thing that you can do. And my heart goes out to black women who got some sense. My heart goes out to black women that have some character. My heart goes out to black women that have some honor. Because if she isn't married, it's going to be a tough road. It's not about finances. It's not about bus drivers. It's not about none of that. It ain't about going to prison. It ain't about being gay. You can say all that to the side. So let's set aside the ones that's in prison, the ones that's gay, the ones that's ain't broke, the one whatever. Set them aside. The majority of black men have an excuse. So the majority of black women are faced with dealing with the man that off the bat, out the gate, is going to have an excuse. She has to reconcile with that in her mind and reconcile and say, okay, this man believes he's oppressed. How can I still have a decent life with him? It's a tough decision to make. It's a tough decision to make. And I really feel for you all, I do. Because I know from those excuses that black men have, poor character follows. It's not just he makes excuses, he has poor character to follow the poor excuses. As we see Senator Warlock, James Cole, Allen Iverson, and the rest of them. We didn't have three. I done gave y'all three major pivotal black men in the black community: Allen Iverson, Senator Reverend Warlock, and James Cone, and they all got the same mentality. They all have an excuse. And their character follows their excuses. Right, Pamela. Black women have to make excuses for black men to make it make sense. Otherwise, it wouldn't. Because her very nature is repelled by a man that has an excuse. Subconsciously, the problem in the black community subconsciously is black women are disgusted with black men. They don't even know it. They don't even know it. The reason why black women talk to black men the way they do is because the black man tells her, I'm not in charge. He is. So every time he puffs his chest out, every time he issues a demand or a decree, every time he puts his foot down, it further infuriates the black woman. It further infuriates the black woman because she's like, how dare you put your foot down with me, but not him? This is all happening subconsciously. It ain't happening out in the open. So the problem with the black community is that the black man has an excuse, and his character is going to follow his excuses. And from the black man having an excuse, everything else is going to fail. No different than Adam. It's just the same. It's the same thing. We repeat this same story over and over again. When the man doesn't take responsibility, when the man makes excuses, when the man blames the woman and blames God, what happens? Chaos, death, and destruction. Let's continue.
People and Africans don't even look the same. I mean, look at Black Americans and then look at people from West Africa. You can clearly see that we're different. We don't look the same. So I can understand why Black people have no need to connect to Africa. This is totally false. So many of us have a very generalized view of looking at African culture. This is why we say things like Africans sold other Africans, because what we do not acknowledge the various cultures that existed for hundreds, thousands of years on the continent of Africa, but we show that same degree of respect to cultures in Western Europe. So there's a lot of difference in phenotype. Africa has a polytypic phenotype, just like many Black Americans are going to look vastly different from one another. So it's something that we have to question, because I think when we say Black people don't look like Africans, we kind of buy into a racist narrative of just there's a generic African phenotype when there isn't one.
Everybody knows when an African walk in the room and when a Black American walk in the room. I don't want to say Black American, but I'm talking about y'all. Everybody knows the difference. When I went to Africa, they said you ain't African off the bat. Everybody knows how Africans got to look. We know this. Why are we acting brand new? Why are we acting brand new? Everybody knows that Africans got to look. Ethiopians and Eritreans and Somalians, yeah, they look the same, but they also look African. Nigerians, Somalians, and don't get me started on Cameroon and the Republic of the Congo and all that stuff. Mali, Senegal, and all that. Everybody knows when a person is African. Why are we acting brand new? Why? You can't tell the difference, Black. We shut up. Black folk be putting on dashikis. Black folk be wearing the medallions, the trinkets, and all that, and still don't look African. Look crazy. Black folk put the whole kit on and still don't look African. Black people put the whole African kit on and still don't look African. What are we talking about? Why are we acting brand new? And because he look like a little Ninja Turtle, he wants you to believe you look the same. He ain't got no cheekbones. He like Donatello. He want you to believe that me and him look alike. Stop. He got a round head. He got the head that was in South America with the Olmec heads. That's the head he got. He got the Olmec head. Stop. That's crazy. Trying to convince us we don't look alike. You know good well we don't look alike. And everybody know. And another thing too. And when the Africans come over here and try to dress like us, Americans, they look crazy. They'll put a fit on it, and something about the fit is always off. Either the shirt too small, the shoes is wrong, because most of the time they throw a little fit on, but the shirt and the pants don't go. Then they got the little church shoes on. Like Everybody knows when the Africans put their clothes on. We all know this. Why are we acting brand new? Why are we acting brand? We know when because when the Africans get dressed, they be having on the knockoffs. We know they be having on the knockoff stuff. Why I gotta be the bad guy? You see him? Thank you, Neek. Thank you, Paul. He got the Yankee because it's a kid. They watch us and be like, okay, I put the hat on like this, and I put the and we looking crazy. Just how we look in the dashikis and stuff, how we look crazy, they look crazy with the American stuff on. They be having on the tight jeans with the Timbs on. Look at the shirt be looking crazy, man. Come on. Why we gotta act brand new? Why I gotta be the bad guy? You know good and well we don't look alike. Stop. Stop.
White people had the most unfortunate ability to cause other people of color, to just feel really lifeless. You could not be yourself around them.
Could you imagine going through life? Could you imagine going through life and you can't be yourself around white people? Has a white person ever told you all that you couldn't be yourself? I'm serious. Has a white person ever told you all that you could not be yourself? Has a white person ever said, tone your blackness down? I'm offended.
Well, white people had the most unfortunate ability to cause other people of color, to just feel really lifeless. You could not be yourself around them because they wouldn't tolerate it, for one thing.
It's a lie. You know what I blame for this? I blame black men, because black men was feeling insecure and they would come home and blame the white man. So they got their woman thinking that everybody out there that's white is bad. Black men today that have six-figure jobs blame white people. You know how many black men I talk to that make well into the six figures talking about they oppressed? And somebody said she was in a different time period. How is she in a different time period, but they're saying the same things? So y'all telling me that when black folks had nothing, it was the white people's fault. And now when black folks have something, it's still the white folks' fault? Come on. You can't have it both ways. Winter's song, The Clan, she said, as a white person, I think I miss when black folks aren't being themselves around me. Exactly. Listen to me. Black people are taught to be insecure around white people. That is taught to them. Parents tell their children this. This is ingrained in them. Before the child can have an experience with another human being, black parents set down the ground rules. Now, you know, baby, you can lead a plantation, but don't wander off too far now. Them slave catchers might get you. Always stays in eyesight so I can seize you. That's how black folks sound to their kids. Now, as you go out there now, them white folks gonna get you. When you get around them, just be quiet. Put your head down. Foolishness. God said that we are wonderfully and fearfully made. We're more than a conqueror. What y'all acting like y'all weak for? That goes against God's word. God said, go to the throne boldly. What y'all bowing down to white people for? They didn't ask you to bow down to them. It's crazy.
For instance, you had to always pretend that you thought they were superior. You had to always pretend that you thought they were right. And this had a real dampening effect on people of color because we knew they were not superior and we knew they weren't always right. But it was set up that way. You know, it was a fascist state.
Let me ask y'all a question. How many black folks do y'all know, by a show of hands, how many black folks y'all know that think they know everything but don't know nothing? By a show of hands. How many of you all know black people who think they know something but don't know anything? I don't trust black people telling me that white people don't know something and they do. Black folks read the first chapter in the book, shut it up, and they experts. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And the laws were enforced by terrorism, by beatings and lynchings and disappearances and rapes, and and this had been going on for a few hundred years. So it's really remarkable that people like my parents and my grandparents were able to be people of such grace.
Now, I find it funny that in this oppressive white world, Alice Walker becomes a New York Times bestseller. I find it very strange that Alice Walker became a millionaire in this oppressive white country. She's telling you how bad white people are, but she's not telling you how good they are. Because white folks had to get the book published. White folks had to print the book. White folks had to do the films that were adaptations from your book. Of course, I mean liberal whites and liberal Jews, but they had to aid you in your efforts. So why is she only telling you all half the story? And then when it came to the snake bite, of course, she took the white man's snake bite. And I guarantee you that her lawyer is either white or Jewish. I guarantee that her financial advisor is either white or Jewish. And I guarantee she dates white men or women or theys and thems. They never tell you how they made it. Making conservatism look cool said they never tell you how they got successful. These folks never tell you how they made it because they can't. Because they know that how they made it was because it was contrived. Alice Walker's a dime a dozen. You know how many black women write books and stuff about the struggle? You know how many barbershops there are in the hood? How many hair salons? And so again, these people are a dime a dozen. These folks are not unique. They're not special. Every year there's an Alice Walker. Every year there's a Senator Warlock. Every year there's a Stacey Abrams. Every year there's a Meg Thee Stallion. Every year there's a Maxine. These people get pumped out every year because it's the same script. These folks are reading from the exact same script. Nothing has changed. Can someone please grab the microphone from black people? Please. Please.
I'm so fucking angry right now. I fucking hate doing camera shit. I fucking hate it, man. Don't even have the capacity to even talk about this shit. But I'm fucking angry. And the sad thing is I already knew what the fucking ruling was gonna be. Because Oklahoma is that place. It is that place where black people see little justice in that place.
You see this big, overgrown, crying circus monkey on it. I hate doing the camera stuff. In the white man's clothes. He got the white man's teeth in his mouth. At the white man's job. In the white man's car, because it's probably a German vehicle. He in the white man's car, got the white man's clothes on, got the white man's teeth in his mouth, and he in the car crying about the white man. This big overgrown circus monkey. Disgusting. It's disgusting. The black man is weak. This video went viral. Black people celebrating this nonsense. They celebrating it. You wonder why these black women getting IVFs. It ain't just because they Jezebels, or they loose, or they feminists. It's also they done peeped who y'all really are. And what these black women tell themselves is, I'm not going to submit to that. And guess what? I don't blame them. You sitting there crying in the car, you big overgrown, not Barnum and Bailey Brothers circus, not a real circus, not Circus des Soul, Circus Soleil, whatever that big one. We talking about this the Soul Circus. He a Soul Circus monkey. That means he's a raccoon in a monkey costume. He ain't a real monkey. He's a raccoon in a monkey costume. This the Soul Circus. This in the parking lot of the mall circus. That kind of circus. Disgusting. Let's continue.
And I'm angry because I am a 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre descendant. I'm a descendant of a family that survived. Not only that, I know the survivors. Like, I was with them when we went to DC and they spoke at Congress. I just don't have the emotional capacity to respond at this point.
This man is married. This is what I'm This man is married. We can pull up video after video after video. It's going to be hard for you to find a black man that's actually, you know what's so crazy about it? Tell me I'm lying. He go to, you got Vody Bakum, you got Jesse Lee. How many black men do you see with some character speaking? You know, it ain't but about 5 or 6 of them that's popular. Okay, maybe 8 to 10. But most black men that are talking with a camera in front of them, cell phone, or they weak. They making excuses.
Because we've all been through so much these last last 4 years. I'm just so angry.
This man is crying on camera, putting on a show, and black folks love it. Now, when the UN troops are on the streets, what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to rally the ancestors in his spirit and fight back? Now, you all claim that the ancestors were fighters. So I'm asking black people, are you all going to fight the UN troops? Are you going to invoke the ancestors' rage in your spirit and fight back? I'm wondering. Because I got a feeling y'all not going to do that. I got a feeling that when y'all see them UN troops, somehow, some way, y'all going to want to be their friend.
I'm so fucking angry right now. I fucking hate doing camera shit. I fucking hate it, man.
Now, you know that when people cry on camera, they're very disgusting with no character. You know when people are crying on camera, it was a couple of takes. So he didn't just cut the camera and start crying. It was a couple of takes. It's probably about his fourth video. If I'm going to cry, the last thing I'm thinking about doing is getting on camera. So we already know he's a scumbag, degenerate, on top of being a circus monkey. And he has the white man's watch on his wrist, the white man clothes on his back, the white man's veneers in his mouth, and he's in a white man's car. And he's crying about not getting reparations. As if Black Wall Street wasn't rebuilt and it was twice as better. Facts. Black Wall Street got rebuilt and it was better than it was before. Facts. He probably is LGBTQ.
Don't even have the capacity to even talk about this shit. But I'm fucking angry. And the sad thing is I already knew what the fucking ruling was gonna be.
So then why are you crying? If you knew what the ruling was going to be, why are you crying? Man, listen, man.
Because Oklahoma is that place. It is that place where black people see little justice in that place. And I'm angry because I am a 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre descendant. I'm a descendant of a family that survived. Not only that, I know the survivors. Like, I was with them when we went to DC and they spoke at Congress.
Listen, I don't trust anybody that doesn't have a neck. I don't know what it is, but when a person don't have a neck, you can't trust them. I don't think in my life I've ever seen a trustworthy person that had no neck. I don't know what that is. No neck, like little ears and no necks. It's something about it. It reveals character. I don't know. But yeah, disgusting. I'll be right back on Instagram. My time is running out on here. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second.
I just don't have the emotional capacity to respond at this point. Because we've all been through so much these last, last 4 years.
Listen, not one tear
I
fell.
just don't have the emotional
Not one tear fell.
capacity to.
You know, crying on command is a real skill, real gift. Most folks can't do it. Most black folks can't do it. Most black folks can't act. Black folks lie better than they act. That's why black folks rap so good, because they can lie a lot. They can lie in the rhymes. But not one tear fell.
Respond at this point.
That's why he hiding his face. We've
all been.
He don't have the emotion to even convey sorrow, because he knows it's some BS. In order to get into be a very good actor or actress, you got to embody the character. You got to convince yourself that you are the character to conjure up the emotions. So he can't even do that. He can't even convince himself that he's a poor black field hand somewhere suffering. He can't even do it because his life is too good.
Through so much these last last 4 years.
Kofi said he probably tagged Tyler Perry on this post. It's a horrible acting job. Horrible. But the black man is weak. He's weak.
Use the cursive writing. There is no Arabic writing form outside of ancient Kemet. They didn't have a writing system. The Prophet Muhammad did not write or read. And those early didn't write or read. Bilal came from Ethiopia, and he was the knowledge. In fact, the book will even.
Why they got? But this was funny about black people, right? We all know how Ethiopians look. The picture they just showed right here look like Rollo from Sanford and Son. This ain't like he ain't from Ethiopia. Why do black folks do this? He ain't Ethiopian. Black folks always make these people look like them in these ancient. Stop. It's cap. Thank you, Virginia. And Muhammad was white. He sure was white. Muhammad was white. It's crazy.
He was the knowledge. In fact, the book will even tell you, if you really want to know Islam, you have to know Bilal, the first convert of Islam, the black man.
Didn't I tell y'all that
the Arabs used the cursive writing? There is no Arabic writing form outside of ancient Kemet. They didn't have a writing system. The Prophet Muhammad.
Didn't I tell y'all that black folks influence everything? Listen, look.
Bilal, the first convert of Islam, the black man.
So Islam's first member was a black man. The first man to sin was a black man. The first man to get evicted was the black man. The first man to kill his brother was a black man. And the first man to become a Muslim was a black man. He said Bilal came from Philadelphia. JVC Channels said Chanel said Muhammad called Ethiopians raisin heads. That's hilarious. That's funny. That is funny.
To wear a beard. The Muslim male in the Muslim world is bearded. And the reason the Muslim male is bearded is because they are following the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. That is fine. We give you credit for that. But we in the Nation of Islam, we are beardless because we are following the sunnah of Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad.
Now, imagine the Nation of Islam telling y'all that Jesus isn't God in the flesh, but they believe that Allah is the white man, Farah Muhammad, in the flesh. Think what I'm telling you. They will tell you that Jesus was not God in the flesh. He was just a prophet. But Farah Muhammad, the white man, was Allah in the flesh. You cannot listen to black people. Will someone please grab the microphone from black people? When black people are confused about something or they don't know, they will just make it up. How you gonna be the Nation of Islam, but you don't follow Islam? How you gonna be a Muslim, but you don't follow the Prophet Muhammad? What are we? They just make it up. They just made it up. Listen to them.
To wear a beard. The Muslim male in the Muslim world is bearded. And the reason the Muslim male is bearded is because they are following the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. That is fine. We give you credit for that. But we in the Nation of Islam, we are beardless because we are following the sunnah of Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad.
The next time a Muslim try to challenge you all on Christ and God or anything, just tell them what this man just said. That they said that Allah, Farah Muhammad, the white guy, was Allah in the flesh, much like the Prophet Muhammad was a white man. Let's continue. Following the sunnah.
Always felt more comfortable around black people. Like
Cool.
it just, I love the camaraderie. I love the way y'all like go back and forth, the way y'all are with each other. Like it's always felt very, just love.
The white liberal is disgusting.
I've always felt more comfortable around black people. Like
Cool.
it just, I love the camaraderie. I love the way y'all like go back and forth, the way y'all are with each other. Like it's always felt very, just love.
Now, why do you think she feels comfortable around black people? I know the answer. Why do you think she feels comfortable around black people? I'll tell you. Because around black people, there aren't any expectations. There's no standard. So she can do what she wants to do. There's no expectation of her around black people. And most times they'll be entertaining her. So what she's saying is that I'm insecure and black folks make me feel secure. Really what she described was you all being her therapy. You all entertain her to make her forget about her insecurities. She watch you niggas run around and do all this. She's amused by you all. You make her forget about what her people expect from her.
I've always felt more comfortable around Black people. Like
Cool.
it just I've always felt more comfortable around Black people. Like
Cool.
it just I love the camaraderie. I love the way y'all like go back and forth, the way y'all are with each other. Like it's always felt very just love.
Just love. Cap. How about just cap? I want to show you all a video. I want to show you all a video. Is that it? No, ain't it. I wanted to show you all a video. No.
Blessings, Israel. So I'm on my way to my plantation, right? And my menstrual is on. And for those that know, they know. We're not supposed to be working, cooking, cleaning, surrounded by anybody when our menstrual on. We're supposed to be isolated in a temple that smells delightful, meditating, sleeping, praying, diving into the scriptures. And it's raining. You know how much I want to be in my bed right now? But we in captivity. We gotta go to work on our periods.
That's the queen for you. That's the queen. Queen.
Blessings, Israel. So I would like to have a discussion in the comments because I've been seeing different Hebrew Israelites saying different things, and I'm gonna give you guys my take on it as well. So I've been seeing Hebrew Israelites say that salvation is for the Gentile and the Jew, and they're not talking about like the Gentile in a way that it's a Jew just in a Gentile state of mind. They're actually talking about like these other nations, right? And I've seen some Hebrew Israelites say, you know, salvation is only for the children of Israel, right? And I'm more on the side that the salvation is only for the children of Israel because Christ only came for the lost sheep. What other nation needs salvation other than our nation?
Think about, she just told on herself. What other nation needs salvation? Think about what she's saying. What other nation needs salvation? So in other words, they're already good. This is the black mind. What other nation needs salvation? She only is following this Hebrew Israelite, Hebrew Israel, Bud Light. She's only following this because it puts black folks at the top. If this, she only following this because I guarantee she grew up in the church or around the church. So she rejected the church and she said, but this because this put black folks at the top.
His people, his children. So I do want to know, like, what scriptures are y'all getting that from?
Now, Hebrew Israelite showed her about 3 scriptures. Because you know black folks don't read it all the way through. Black folks read the first chapter and they close the book. So again, this girl just said that the other nations don't need salvation. She's already placing them on a higher spiritual level.
always felt more comfortable around Black people. Like
Cool.
it just, I love the camaraderie. I love the way y'all like go back and forth, the way y'all are with each other. Like it's always felt very, just love.
The way y'all, it's a minstrel show. Now, if she met the Hebrew Israelites, they would tell her to kiss their feet. She ain't met them Black folks. She ain't met the Black folks that hate her. I wish she met some Hebrew Israelites and see how they were back and forth with her. It's crazy. The white liberal is disgusting. The white liberal is disgusting. Let's continue because I had something that I wanted to show you all just real quick. I got to get ready to go. I can't do it. I got to wait. Arena Bina, love you, Blanche. Are you going to talk about agenda or Project 2025? I only heard the left talking points, and I don't like it. I'm going to look into it. Rena Bina, I am. Thank you for the super sticker. Cruise Missile, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Kofi 19, he's crying about all the things he put on his credit card that he thought he paid for reparation money, including those teeth. Exactly, Kofi. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Dead or alive. Hi, family. I can't even begin to imagine how I feel if I saw my husband crying in a video he posted. Right. Divorce. I'm sorry, divorce, because he broke the covenant. If a man is on video crying for social media, he broke y'all covenant. He cheated on you with the world. He did. He cheated on you with the world. Randall Hampton, thank you for super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Listen, I got to go, you all. Thank you, Angel Wings, for moderating. I didn't see a Goddess Navi. I don't think so. But thank you, Angel Wings, for narrating. Love you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. I love y'all.